Great interview yesterday, but Christie will need more than just tough talk to gain in the polls. A new NBC Wall Street Journal poll shows that Christie still lags far behind Republican frontrunners Ben Carson and Donald Trump. Want to bring in Home Depot founder and Invamed Associates Chairman and CEO Ken Langone, who has supported Christie in the past. Ken, great to see you.
Nice seeing you,
Thanks
Maria.
so much for joining us. You still a Christie supporter?
Absolutely.
What do you think it is? Why is he lagging in the polls? He's been successful in New Jersey. He is tough talk. He's sort of outside the box, and yet he's lagging big time.
Look, this is about as unusual a political season as you're ever going to see in America, ever. Two guys who never were in the political arena have 50%. Okay? We haven't gotten down to business yet. Now, the good thing about where we are is the American people are voicing their strong dissatisfaction with leaders. I think our political leaders and our government leaders in America today are the worst. I think it's an absolute disgrace, both sides. We spent a lot of money and we made a lot of phone calls to get control of the Senate last year on the assurance that watch what happens when we get control.
What happens?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nada.
Because they're all about each other down there. They're so incestuous. Democrats, and they play us like fools because they go into a room and let's do this and let's do that, and then we'll go outside and fire them up. It's kind of sad. So I think the American people are saying loud and clear, enough.
We're sick of it.
Right. Donald Trump is probably the master at marketing and promotion of anybody I've ever known. He's got enormous talent, and he's now putting that talent to work. And he's getting results. Ben Carson is just a lovely, lovely man, and he's out there doing his very best, and he's trying to be exactly as Ben is. He's a fabulous human being. You can't say enough good things about him.
But does anybody have the real plan, the secret sauce to get the economy moving again?
Maria,
maybe they all do.
Corporate welfare. You know, if I want to make a deal with you, I'm going to come in and tell you what I'm willing to do for you first. Let us be the first chip. Let us throw the first chip on the table. Let's stop guys like for me from getting Social Security. My wife and I get $4,500 a month from the federal government. That's a disgrace.
Yeah.
So take guys like me out. Take us out of that hysteria they had in Chicago yesterday about do what you want to me. Can't hurt me, but so take us off the table.
Well, you end up giving it all away anyway.
Well, not all of it. I'm still living pretty good, okay?
It's that $4,500 a month you're living large on there.
In terms of Chris Christie, what about his fundraising, though? Cash on hand was under $1.4 million at the end of the third quarter.
Well, let me tell you, everybody's having trouble. And let me explain why. Just yesterday, I made about 9 calls. And I'm writing down now where they are. First of all, nobody's going to open their wallet to any degree until they get down to a few number of candidates where the bet gets better. Right now, you got 15 people, and I don't want to offend anybody, but what the hell is George Pataki doing running for president of the United States?
But John Kasich had almost double the amount of cash on hand than Christie did. And Marco Rubio had $11 million.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, it's not easy raising money, and I'm a master at it. I've done very well. Okay? It's not easy because people are saying to me, hey, hold it, Ken. I'm interested in your guy, but I'm not ready to pull the trigger now. I want to see how this develops. I want to see who's in and who's out.
Sure.
So why doesn't
I get that.
Why
I don't think you're going to get that.
How do you get him then, Chris Christie, from here to New Hampshire?
Just by doing what he's doing. We're talking about him right now.
But
you had him on.
Yeah.
Morning Joe had him on.
Yes.
But getting down to business, I mean, why don't the people that write the checks just get rid of this circus act and get rid of the 15 guys that shouldn't be running?
Well, how do they do
that we can narrow it down? I mean,
how do the guys that write the checks do that?
I mean, Koch today is on the record saying, look, I'm disgusted with where the debate's at. You're saying the same thing. You think you have a horse that people don't understand.
I didn't say people didn't understand.
They need to see. They need to coagulate their bets.
I jumped on the governor 4 years ago. I pleaded with him. I had a special meeting in New York for him to let him listen to people tell him why he should run.
Right.
An interesting thing has happened on the way to the forum. Donald Trump today is where Christie was 4 years ago. So he stole Christie's thunder.
Wow. Yeah,
Okay,
he did.
now,
Yeah, he's
the
still a
thing-
lot of people's thought.
But he helps in a way because Donald got a big mouth, and Christie, by comparison, isn't quite as loud.
Well, but also Christie's got something else going for him. His experience. Now we get back to
Right.
you don't want too much experience because now you're back to the people you don't like anymore, the politicians. But he's had experience in dealing. We need some bipartisanship in Washington more now than ever before. We've got to get some stuff done.
Yep.
Christie has demonstrated in a heavily blue state that he could get things done. He did get things done.
You know, people don't forgive him for the famous hug.
The
Famous hug of Obama right before the election. It was Obama versus Romney.
Could you imagine me throwing a fundraiser?
Somebody doesn't.
Could you imagine me? Shut your eyes. Could you imagine me throwing a fundraiser for Chuck Schumer?
I could imagine.
Yes or
that.
no?
Yes. Well, yes, I could imagine it because you're.
Why?
Because you're in New York. Well, you don't live in New York, though. No, I don't. I can't.
I live in New York. Let me tell you why I did. When our medical center was on its back, and the world was saying we would never open again, this guy killed himself to get us help.
So my first instinct was right. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, you're right. Look, but the point I'm making to you is, why would I do it for Chuck Schumer? Because Chuck Schumer was there for me. The President of the United States is with the governor of New Jersey. The entire state is practically wiped out, and this guy has power. I'd have given him more than a hug. I'd have given him a hug, a wet kiss, and maybe even more. Why? Why? Because he was doing his job as governor of the state of New York. That hug was from the people of the state of New Jersey, not Chris Christie. It came through him. People order on. By the way, who was my nemesis? By the way, our medical center is flying.
No kidding. It's the #1 medical center in the world.
Next week, and I'm not going to leak it, next week there's going to be a story about our medical center and what happened there that's going to blow the world away.
Wow.
Going to blow it away. Remind me.
Come on.
Langone, NYU Langone. Well, I should point out that I'm on the board of NYU, so, you know, I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
You know who my nemesis was then?
Who?
John Boehner. John Boehner, I must have called him 15 times New Year's Eve. 2013, was that? Yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
And if I'm anything, I'm persistent. And I kept calling. And finally, he did the foolish thing of answering his cell phone.
Hello, it's Ken Langone.
At 11:45. And he said to me, don't worry, you're going to get your money. This is when they were going to pass that $60 billion bill.
Oh, that was a really tough time.
We weren't going to get our money. There was a provision in there that we had to match the money we got from the government. Well, we didn't have that. I mean, we had a $1.5 billion hit. We had 15 million gallons of contaminated water in all of our buildings.
Oh, God.
It was horrible.
That was horrible.
I was in my apartment, and I sat there, and I said, my God, please let us open again. Boy, did we open again. But the point is, Schumer was there.
Yeah, you got it done.
And you know what? I don't care what anybody says about me and supporting Schumer. He was there, and he did what he was supposed to do. And guess what? I'm grateful for everybody, for our patients, for the docs, for the nurses. And you do what you got to do if you got any manners.
You absolutely do.
Chris Christie did his job as governor as best anybody could that moment with the President of the United States.
I only pointed it out because I know that it still hangs out there. But